Alright, let's go back to the start. Hello, and welcome back to the Grandmasters League Round 6, Game 2 between Ming and Tim. We do have Tim playing in red up to the north, or sort of left north of the map, as Vikings, and Ming in blue down to the right, sort of, as Vikings, and in blue as well. And I never really know where to say they are, because I guess Ming's on the right of the map, because I guess this is the right, this is the left, this is the south, this is the north. But I always imagine the map is rotated 45 degrees to the right, so this is the top, and this is the bottom, and this is the right, and this is the left. I don't know why I do that. It's just if you tilt your head, it kind of makes more sense to think of it as a square map than a triangular isometric sort of, well, not triangular, like a isometric sort of thing. It confuses me when I look at the map. I never know whether to say it's left or top or right. I've got no clue. But either way, we are moving into game 2 right now. And as we know, Tim lost that first game, and we have got Tim's POV right here because Tim has chosen this map as his home map, the map of course being islands, and I personally love islands. It's one of my favourite maps. I love water maps a lot to play. Perhaps to watch they're not so exciting because it's just a grush, but it's always interesting to see who is strongest on a water map, because it does come down to very much how well you do your Dark Age start and your early game. If you have a really good start and a really good Dark Age, then you can do a very, very good game indeed. So I absolutely love water maps, and they're both playing as Vikings as well, which is the ideal civ for water maps, of course. Vikings, why would they not be the ideal map for water, civ for water? But as we know, Ming did win that first game, so going into this one he might be feeling a little bit confident. The last game, of course, Baltic is a sort of water map. It's a little bit of a water/land map, but it's more water, I guess. It involves grushing, just like Islands does, and I do think that Ming might be feeling quite confident going into this. Of course, after winning that last game, he thinks to himself, well, maybe I can win this game as well, just maybe. So yeah, seeing him luring in his first boar now. His dock is going up at 4 minutes, just after 4 minutes, so we should see some fishing ships coming out from him pretty quickly. And this dock is in an interesting position. It's kind of forwards. Usually players on these kind of maps dock at the back, well, not directly at the back, but more towards the back. Tim, for instance, in quite a nice position here in sort of like the very back corner of his island, or top corner of his island. It depends where you want to look at it. But Ming could have docked back here, which is, I know, a little bit further from his town centre here, for instance, and he would have had a lot of bigger fish around. But this is a front dock, so we're going to see some, well, it's sort of a front dock, side front dock. So we're going to see some very early grushing, I think, and it's all about who can have the best start, who can get up to the feudal age first with the strongest economy and make the most galleys and really take the water control. Five villagers on wood already. I think we'll see the same from Tim, to be honest with you. 6 for him, an extra villager onto wood right now, and he's starting to get those fishing ships out. Very important to get them out nice and early so you do get that food boost from them. And the idea as well is to delay making the mill as long as possible. Usually in Arabia and other land maps, they would have already made their mill on berries by now. What usually happens is they'll make the mill on berries after they've lured their first boar and send a few villagers to berries, usually ending up with about 4 on berries. But of course in water maps you have to build the dock, which is 150 wood, which is quite a lot of wood, and making fishing ships costs 75 wood a piece as well. Making that mill really slows you down, because a mill does cost 100 wood, and that is the same as a fishing ship. It's the same as a galley, so making the mill can slow your feudal age time down quite significantly. And usually we don't see players go for the mill quite so early on, and they'll try and stay away from farms as well for as long as possible. Ming here a little bit messy. He's not lured his second boar. Does he know where that boar is? Oh, he's not seen it. He's about to see it now. Ming's going to be a little bit annoyed because, of course, as I said already, it's so important to get a strong start in islands, and now he's going to see this boar right here. He's going to be like, okay, quick, I need to lure that boar, because I don't want to be delayed getting up to the feudal age. So he's found the boar now, that's really fortunate, and as you can see he does not want to mill these berries here, so he's not making a mill on here, and now his feudal age, dark age even, is very messy, and it's certainly not a good start for him. Tim, on the other hand, it looks like he's okay. He's lured his second boar in right now, he's got another sheep left, still no mill of course, he's got his 3 fishing ships out, we'll see 4th out on the water, and we should see him then go up to the feudal age once this boar has all been dropped off, and he's got a little bit of extra food from these fishing ships. He's going for 5 fishing ships actually, and he should be up to feudal fairly soon. Of course, it's expected that it's not going to be a very fast feudal age because, of course, making the dock and the fishing ships does take quite a lot of resources. But already you can see Tim starting to gain a very big advantage in score now, as Ming's Dark Age very sort of on edge, not the best Dark Age to be honest with you, and certainly slowed him down quite a bit. Tim now up to the feudal age. Ming, gonna be a while before he reaches feudal. He's gonna have to wait for this boar to finish. He needs another 200 food, and that is really gonna slow down his grush here, and that is certainly not good at all. He knows Tim's gone up, of course. Tim's scored, dipping by a few points there, and now he can click up to feudal, finish up this boar, and start sending villagers over to wood and gold. He's got gold very close to his TC, so that's nice. We'll see a few villagers going to take gold there. If we have a look at the wood count for Ming, it's actually a little bit higher than Tim right now. I think that's probably because Tim went for 5 fishing ships and Ming has, oh, he's also gone for 5. I thought he'd have gone for 4, but of course having to get those extra ships out to make sure he gets up to the feudal age in a reasonable time. Going to finish the boar, 4 villagers to gold, and we'll see another dock or 2 from him very shortly as well. Don't know where this villager's going. He's a hunter apparently. I think he's going to go and build a new dock, to be honest with you. And Tim, no second dock just yet. Villager out there just making it right here, and he is almost up to the feudal age already. 4 villagers over to gold. It's pretty much an identical build, but right now Tim is doing everything a little bit faster and a little bit better than Ming, to say the least. A little bit of a better dark age for him, and that's going to help him out in the long run massively. But it's not such a huge difference that it's going to be impossible to do anything about it. Ming, of course, could do something similar to like he did last game, and he could easily make a dock on this side, send a transport ship and a villager over, and start to attack Tim with cavalry, not cavalry archers, with archers, for instance. They're not playing as Huns this time, of course. So it could work for Ming still, even if he looks like he's going to lose the water. It's certainly not all over. Last time I played 2v2 Islands with Gentle, he didn't even really grush. He made a few galleys and then he landed a castle on his opponent. So it's not impossible to win a game, to lose a game with water control, and it's not impossible to lose a game without water control. But it's certainly harder without water control, and they're certainly going to be fighting for it. Second dock up for Tim, 3rd one on the way. Galleys coming out for him as well. Ming slightly further behind, obviously a much messier dark age than Tim, and his 3rd dock on the way up and completed as well. Galleys coming out from all, and now they've just got to make sure they don't get population blocked, because that is something that you really want to avoid, something that I do all the time, and something that shouldn't be happening. So Tim going to make another house right there, because now of course they're going to be creating galleys from 3 docks, creating villagers from the town centre, and that's 4 population every now and then, and that's not really that's quite a lot of population to be gaining all of a sudden, and that is why I do like water maps. They get very actiony very quickly, even though they do have water separating the islands. So Tim now going to push out. He's got a little bit of a score lead, nothing too major. Ming of course now with 5 docks, and he should be able to defend quite nicely if he can continue galley production from all of them, which is looking kind of likely. He does have a lot of galleys, a lot of wood even out already. He's got plenty of villagers on gold, he's got a lot of more villagers coming out, and I think he's already got the wood upgrade, which is really important. It's so important to get the wood upgrade, as that really does help you out in the long run, as you have got so many villagers gathering wood here. You'd be mad not to upgrade it, as it just gives you so much more wood over time. looks like neither of them willing to attack just yet, or getting ready to attack just yet. Tim actually only on the 4 docks right now. I don't know if he's actually going to go for a 5th, but if he doesn't go for a 5th, then he could find himself losing water control here, because Ming, although he was slower to the feudal age, he's doing really good actually at making a lot of galleys from these docks. They're not idle at all, and he's going to have a much larger galley count in the end, and it's 7 warships already. Tim is on 5, and I do think that Ming is going to start to actually gain a nice water advantage here, regardless of the fact that he was slower up to the feudal age. Tim might be going for a faster castle time though, we'll have to wait and see, but Ming's economy looking pretty good right now, plenty of ships out on the water, and Tim probably feeling pretty confident going into this, as he did get up to the feudal age first. A little engagement now then, and Tim might just retreat straight away, because he's going to see how many galleys Ming does have. Tim might be able to get a free warship here, a free galley for free. Everyone likes freebies, especially Tim, because he's going to chase that galley down and it's going to be his for the taking. So that's a free galley for him, and a free galley is a good galley if you can get one, and of course it's a bad galley if you lose one. But 4 docks now for Tim as well. Going to try and draw things level on the water, and 4 docks is pretty standard on these kind of maps nowadays. Sometimes you see people going for 3 and a faster castle time, but really if your opponent has got an extra dock, it's a little bit risky to go just 3 docks, because you'll find yourself outnumbered a lot more quickly than you will assume, or a lot more quickly than you'll think. So 4 docks for both, plenty of galleys coming out. We'll see a blacksmith fairly shortly from both. I think there's the blacksmith from Tim. Has he already got +1? Yes, he has. That was very early blacksmith. Blacksmith not even up for Ming yet, so Tim could attack quite soon and go into this with a nice little advantage. That very early blacksmith there, delaying the 4th dock to get the fletching a little bit earlier, but then getting the 4th dock straight after. A really nice sort of tactic to get the +1 a little bit earlier, and that could actually help him out quite massively if he does go and engage right now before Ming gets his blacksmith up. That's not Ming, that's Tim. Before Ming gets blacksmith and fletching. He should get fletching any second now. He's not got it, but he should upgrade it very shortly. And as you can see, his house placement pretty good as well. Going to put houses all the way around the outside of his island to make sure that he doesn't get landed. And if he does get landed, he's going to see it a mile off, as is Tim, making sure that his houses are all the way around the outside. Houses, of course, don't give much line of sight, but they give enough line of sight that you can kind of get an idea if someone is nearby. Especially if he gets the town watch upgrade, which will give him a little bit of extra line of sight, and he should, in theory, then be able to use these as mini outposts all the way around the outside of his island, and that is exactly what Ming is doing as well, and using his scout to make sure that no units are going to be landed. A little bit of a scuffle on the water, both of them going to try and micro their asses off here. It does look like Tim has the number advantage. It's 17 ships for Ming right now, Tim on 18. It's only 1 difference, but of course Tim has got 4 ships back here, so if he was to engage, Ming would have the advantage, and Tim just going to fall back, I think. And I do think we'll see castle age from both these guys fairly shortly. It looks like Tim is much closer to getting castle than Ming is right now. He's got a lot more food already. He's starting to make a couple of farms, but the main thing is just these fishing ships back here. He's actually got 6 fishing ships, and Ming is on 6 as well, but he's only taking from shore fish back here, which is a lot slower than taking from the big fish that Tim is taking from, and that's giving him a nice little food boost, a very nice food boost. Not to mention he's still taking some berries now, starting to take berries even, and Ming is going to start taking berries as well. But I think Tim here, nice situation for him to be in. He should be able to get up to the castle age pretty quickly. Look at his eco right here. Yep, castle age for him right now. He might have just actually sold some resource, but I actually think he did get enough food in pretty quickly from those from these fishing ships. So castle age for Tim, and Ming looking quite a way off, I've got to say. Market just going up for him right now, and then he's got his 2 feudal age buildings. He's nearly got 800 food, and he's still creating galleys, of course, but I do think, yeah, Tim going to have a big advantage going into the castle age with those extra galleys out, and with that early castle age upgrade advantage. So if you can attack Ming nice and early, get his galleys to engage before he upgrades to war galley, and then once they're upgraded to war galley, absolutely cut through Ming's army, that could work out very well for Tim. 25 ships for him. Ming on 25 as well. It's so close for the galley count, but the economy is looking much in favour of Tim. Let's consider they both have the same amount of galleys, and Tim's on 72, Ming is on 74. Wow, I was wrong. Ming has more villagers. So that's really confusing to me. Why is Ming so slow getting up to the castle age if he has more villagers and a bigger economy? He's obviously invested more in making houses, perhaps. He's obviously invested perhaps more in ships, in queuing them up. He might even have invested more in farms, although it's 4 farms apiece. So somewhere along the lines, Ming has not been very efficient, and he's ended up slowing his castle time down quite significantly. Tim, of course, going to get up to the castle age first, going to have war galley first, and going to start pushing Ming back, I think, until Ming can level the upgrades. It looks like, yeah, Ming added on an extra fishing ship here. He's got 7 now, so perhaps that was what slowed him down a little bit. I'm not really sure, but really, Ming should be up to the castle age reasonably close to Tim, but as it is, he's actually quite far behind, which is certainly not so good at all. Tim's economy obviously a lot more efficient. Tim now with war galley upgrade completed. He's going to chase Ming down, and Ming's got to be careful. He does outrun and outmaneuver the war galleys, but he really doesn't want to get in a straight up fight with them, as you will manage to sink a lot of these ships. Ming now up to the castle age as well. War galley on the way. Conquerors will be on the way as well, of course. You'd be mad not to, but Tim already with the upgrades can now take advantage of that. He might decide to focus down one of these docks. He might decide to just kill off these fishing ships, but either way, Tim with quite a big upper hand going into this. Ming with 38 war galleys on the water. Tim with 38 war galleys, 39, 40. But it's so close. Both of them very neck and neck with units now. Tim just stopping creating with a couple of these docks. Can't get words out. Obviously, he's going to want to keep them going, and we will probably see. He's probably already upgraded wheelbarrow. The second wood upgrade will probably already be completed. Ballistics being done as well, and now he's focusing down one of these docks, and Ming is just getting ballistics as well. His wood upgrade is probably already completed, and he's probably already got wheelbarrow also, so it's very close for both of them. Ming's not actually that far behind in the score, considering slower up to feudal, slower up to castle. He's still hanging on in there and doing a reasonable job of keeping himself in the game. Are either of them going to get careening? Well, Ming does have careening nice and early, and that's kind of characteristic of him, I think. He did that last game as well, with careening nice and early, and I think now they're actually still very close for number of ships. 45 for Tim, 41 for Ming. It's very close indeed. Bear in mind, some of Tim's ships are back here, and if Ming engages now, he has got careening, he does have ballistics, and he could engage and take this battle, as he does have that +1, but then again, Tim just upgraded careening as well, and now Tim simply just has more units, starting to focus down these docks as well, and that's going to mean that Ming is going to have to build more docks at the back, and that is going to mean he's not going to be able to afford as many galleys, or he's going to slow galley production down. He's not making any out of these two, he's making one out of the one at the back, but down to 3 docks now, and that's a little bit worrying for Ming. Oh, a big battle on the water here. They're deciding, you know what, we're just going to sail next to each other and then decide to attack. It's the best way, but of course Tim is going to win this battle on the water, as he just simply has more units coming in, and he just does have the war galley advantage. He did go into this game with a much stronger Dark Age. He did have a much better and more efficient economy, obviously, and Ming losing so many ships now, having to retreat, and his score suddenly plummeting as Tim takes the water, I think, here, and Ming is going to be so hard pressed to defend. He's only got 3 docks, sorry, never mind. He's got 5 docks, but he's had to rebuild them at the back here, and he's still making war galleys, but he is going to be very hard pressed to defend. Of course, Tim going to continue to take out the docks on the front, and if Ming doesn't have docks, he can't make units, and it's just a downward spiral from there. Tim with probably more than 1 TC right now as well. 2 TCs, the 3rd TC going up on this wood, and his economy is looking very strong indeed. Ming, having to create these extra docks, has delayed his 2nd town centre. He's still only on the 1 right now, and his economy is going to be suffering massively because of it. So Tim, just by taking out these docks, is really starting to secure himself this game. The dock dots on the front going down, Ming with 3, 4, 5, 6 docks on the back, but every time he builds a dock it's another 150 wood he's had to spend, and now he's going to find himself in a really bad position as he's not able to afford enough war galleys to produce them from all of these docks at once, and he's really struggling to get another TC up, and that is certainly not good at all, as Tim is going to be making 3 villagers at once, Ming is only going to be creating 1, and ultimately Tim is going to end up taking the game, I think. Although Ming might just be able to hold on to the water a little bit longer right now. If he holds on for long enough and doesn't have to create galleys for some time, then he might be able to get a few more TCs up and manage to get himself back into the game, but right now it's certainly not looking so good as Tim's galleys are continuing to push forwards and Ming is finding himself out of galleys very, very rapidly. Ming, of course, really struggling on the water now. The scores say it all. Tim with so many more galleys on the water, and he is starting to move over with more galleys in reinforcing as well, and Ming still only on the 1 TC. Tim's got his 3rd town centre up, his economy is going really strong as well, 4th town centre even, no, sorry, 3rd town centre, and he's just, yeah, getting really far ahead at this stage of the game, and starting to take out villages as well. This is not what Ming wants, and Ming is going to find himself really in a bad situation in just a second. More galleys coming in. I think if he loses these galleys here, he is going to resign, because he's just nothing he's going to be able to do to get back on the water now. He's not got enough wood for another town centre. There's not really enough wood for any more galleys at all, and there we go, GG from Ming, and that was a very quick game with just 30 minutes on the clock. A very quick game indeed. Tim taking the water by storm, and I don't really think Ming could have got himself back into that game. Very sloppy Dark Age from him, not finding that second boar for so long, and then quite a slow feudal age as well. And Tim takes it, so that makes it 1-all. They both gain 1 point each, so it's another draw. What a surprise. As I was saying earlier, just so many draws in this series, in this tournament. But yeah, 1 point each, and I think they both move up to a joint tie for 3rd place. You've already seen the league table if you're watching the stream, so no surprises there.